Okay, so while I've got some time here, I want to talk to you about a couple different things. I want to talk about ethics, and when we talk about ethics, I want to talk about when you're involved in an accident, for example. I also want to talk about following the Smith system when you don't have someone here watching you and making sure that you're following the Smith system. I also want to talk to you about exercising empathy and compassion towards your shippers, receivers, your dispatcher, other truckers, other non-truckers out on the road. And that ought to cover what I really want to cover. So let's back up. First of all, you got to man up and accept fault. When something's your fault, you've got to admit it. Now, here's the problem in a three-party relationship. You, the company that you work for, and the others involved. Things get a little tricky. Recommendations here. Let me go back here. You want to give a full, honest report, but you have to understand that you don't have the big picture. Okay? There will be situations where you thought you were at fault, but because the other person didn't do their proper procedures, it led to your situation, which then, when you did it, caused the problem. And if you go and admit fault, then they're just going to overlook that and say, okay, it's your fault. Let's move forward. So you got to be careful there. So basically what I'm going to say is, first of all, in an incident, don't admit anything. Don't admit anything. The only thing you should be doing is exchanging basic information. You should be calling your safety manager immediately because he's going to help you not do these things right here. Have that phone conversation away from everybody else and speak with your safety guy. Now, your safety guy, you're going to fully disclose everything about that incident. Man up, give him all the details, but make sure nobody else can hear you. Okay? Fully disclose it. Even if it's your fault and you know you're going to lose your job, man up and give him the full details. Leave nothing out. Okay? Let's see. Let's see. So I got on here, don't admit and don't volunteer information. All right, so that's what I want to talk to you about. So, yeah, that's all I can say on it. It may not have been your fault. You don't know that because you don't know what the procedures were for the other person, okay? And they may have been what put you both in that situation. So, moving forward, let's see. Okay, good. Got all that. Okay, the next thing, the Smith system. When you get in an incident, God forbid, if you ever do, the incident is going to show whether or not you followed the Smith system. And it will most likely be because you breached principles of the Smith system, because it's tough to do 11 hours a day, every day. It's a lot of work. That's why you're exhausted at the end of the day. This isn't driving. If I drive a car, normally I can't go 4 hours. In a rig, I can go, 60, 70 hours a week, every week, back to back. It's a whole nother ball game, which is why I'll never go automatic, because you're taking out one more thing for me to think about. So to accept responsibility, to fully accept liability, to man up, I personally am working on getting a dash cam, one on me and one on the road in front of me, so they can see that I'm following my following distance, because following distance is going to be the greatest problem. And I'm going to leave it recording. Now, it needs to record for at least 3 hours without you having to touch it, because you need to keep on driving. Even though you only need that last 30 minutes of footage in an incident, showing whether you were tired, showing what was going on. Did you get something to eat? Did you get caffeine? Were you being responsible with your fatigue? You know, as soon as signs started showing fatigue, did you just keep driving on thinking, hey, I'm all right? Or did you address it properly? By having video cameras up, you're going to teach yourself to do the job, do it right, and you're going to put pressure on yourself to do that, to do it right. So I think it's a great tool. I'm working on it myself. I've thought about a couple GoPros, but then you're talking like $800. So I'm looking at different options out there myself. And plus the cab can get really shaky depending on what roads. If you're in some of the highways in California, some of them Minnesota, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, they can be extremely bumpy and everything in your cab goes flying. So they've got to be secure in your truck. Alright, let's see. In this industry, day and night, I recommend that if anything comes to mind, any goals when it comes to ethics, make that empathy and compassion. Have empathy and compassion towards your shippers, your receivers, your dispatcher, all parties involved. The other drivers, other truckers on the road, other non-truckers on the road. Exercise empathy and compassion. When you're in a situation and you feel like you've been abandoned by your company, you keep calling in, nobody seems to be helping you, you're in a situation where you're stuck, you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're down, and nobody seems to be helping you, rather than say, my company hates me, my company's abandoned me, I'm furious with my company, I would hope for better treatment, just realize that other people have other things happening in their lives, and it's not time to critique, well, my issue is more important than yours. Forget about it. Just forget about it. Whatever's going on in their life that is putting you on the back burner, let it be. Just let it be. Be on the back burner. Well, I got to make money. I got to get home to my family. Tell me about it. I do this for a living. I know how it feels. I'm due to be home to my dog tomorrow, but I've had a situation where I've been stranded for 3 days in the desert, 5 miles from Mexico, in the heat. Fortunately, there's a casino right here where I can go in and get some food and some water and continue on with my problem. But I'm not getting any support because it's the weekend. So rather than get upset and say, well, my company hates me, I'm going to leave my company, I'm being mistreated, I'm being neglected, which I feel, just forget about it. Just realize that other people have stuff too, and though their stuff may not be near as important as what's going on with you, to them it is. To them it is, and you're not going to change that. And in attempting to change that, you're just going to cause them more stress. Just let them deal with their life problems, and then say, well, wait a minute, where's Joe at? Oh shoot, he's been in the desert for 3 days. Oh my God, we got to do something. Let it just work itself out. And just let them know you're just patiently waiting and doing the best you could and making contact and trying to find that help. Have empathy and compassion. I never get upset once I think about the empathy and compassion towards my dispatcher, my shippers or receivers. The world revolves around them, and it's not a big deal. The reason I let the world revolve around them is not because I'm a slave to them, but because my life's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I wish I was making some money. I wish I was at home, but it's all right. I don't know. It's fine. Don't know how else to explain it.